Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming, man. I'm Andrew, and today, 7900 XT is probably all you really need if you want a solid gaming experience. So, I've been here all weekend long. Pretty much all the gaming I've done this weekend has pretty much been the 7900 XT, aside from the PlayStation 5 and a little bit of Xbox Series X gaming that I did this weekend. The majority of the games that I've been playing this weekend have been on my 7900 XT, and I'm probably going to leave that in there for the next, I think I'll leave it in there all week, and maybe... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Probably all week. I don't know, man. I get like these wild hairs to play with one GPU or play with the other, and for the most part, like my favorite has really been the 7800 XT. But so here's the thing, like since I've had the 7800 XT, I've mainly been using that GPU the most. Aside from, like the testing that I do on the 7600 XT. But usually after every weekend, I throw that back in. This is the first weekend in a while since I've had either the 7800 XT or the 7600 XT that I left the 7900 XT in there all weekend and did all my gaming on that. Well, Friday, pretty much, I had like this idea. I was going to come home and I was going to go through like maybe 15 games and put them on like the lowest settings, and then like record some video and just do like a one of them videos like, hey guys, 7900 XT, 15 games, lowest settings, let's see how far we can push this type deal. And then I got to realizing, as I got like through like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games or whatever, I was like, you know what, man? Even on low settings, these games don't look absolutely terrible. It's kind of eye-opening, man, to see just how far that you can push this 7900 XT and just how good it is, even at 4K at 1440p. I did play around with it a little bit at 1080p. Two of those games was Battlefield 2042 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. I put them both on the 1080p low preset, and I was running those, and it was maxing out my freaking screen at 165 without an issue. And I was like, my gosh, man, like this card is an absolute beast. And then when I'd put it on like 4K or 1440p and I'm still pushing, like really high frames, I'm like, my gosh, dude, do you really need this much power when it comes to like PC gaming? And I got me thinking. I was like, well, okay, the 7900 XT is actually on sale right now. I was reading this article that next month at GDC, Microsoft is going to be announcing what's called Direct SR, Direct Super Resolution. I remember before it was Direct ML, like machine learning, but this Direct Super Resolution built right into the DX, the DX12 API or whatever. If you look at that, so say they come in, Microsoft comes in with just a driver like a direct, like an API for super resolution that is, AI based or doing it like the AMD way or whatever. Because you got to look at it this way. AMD doesn't go out of their way to be like, oh yeah, we got like AI and all of this stuff. I mean, obviously the Radeon GPUs are more than capable of running like AI. Like I'm pretty sure they are. There's no way they're not capable of utilizing that. I mean, if you look at it, you can use XeSS over on AMD cards, and it actually works pretty good and it looks fine. But if like all of AMD's software, and it's weird, man. Like all of their software is pretty much open source, open platform. I think it's time for AMD to put in the legwork to bring out an AI upscaler to compete with DLSS or to compete with XeSS. I like FSR. I think FSR is fine. If it never changed, if it just stays FSR 3 and they keep iterating on it and it gets better and better and better, I personally don't care. I mean, to me, DLSS, XESS, and FSR are pretty much like a, hey man, you're playing like a really hard to play game. If you flip that on, you can at least have a playable frame rate. That's pretty much what that means to me. Like, I do not like the fact that these GPU manufacturers are using like DLSS or these features as like a selling point. Like, yeah, man, this has got the best DLSS and all of that. And then what they don't tell you is, hey guys, most developers are building games with this in mind, so at least you got DLSS. And to me, that kind of sucks. You know, and I'm going to tell you that straight up right now. And that kind of sucks, and it makes me feel a little bit like it kind of makes me feel like you're not getting the full amount of processing that you should be getting with your GPU purchase, especially for these prices, man. They're asking us to pay upwards of a full freaking console price just for 1440p gaming. You know what I mean? Like they want $500, and that's a 1440p card now. When our consoles are like, yeah, them are 4K. $500 for a GPU that has anywhere from 3 to 5 times more power than the consoles, and it's $500 for that. And like these consoles are 1080p consoles, like period. They're like 1080p, 1440p best. And so when they market stuff like that, and when they put all the marketing in there for the console specs, for the GPUs, and for all of that stuff, like I think that as a consumer, as somebody that's paying for these products, I think that you should be able to. I think you should be able to hit that without upscaling. Period. Like, I feel like you should be able to do that without upscaling. But then if you look at this new technology from Microsoft that'll be baked into DX11 or DX12 or whatever, and it'll be part of the API or the the GDK or whatever, and developers can just tap right into that and just use that instead of, you know, playing around with DLSS or XESS or FSR even. And if this is I mean, obviously Nvidia and Intel and AMD are still going to want developers to still put their tech in there. But I mean, we've got so much upscaling tech out there, and it's like nobody even talks about rasterization no more. Everybody's just like, it's like everybody's going crazy for these upscalers, and it's like, wait a minute, guys. Come here for a minute. Like, these are cool, like they work, they get the job done, but come here, man. Let's talk about what this really means for the future of our video games, my friends. Because we all seen Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, man, and buddy, man, like, come on. Like, I really do think that it is getting to a point where some of the developers out there, I'm not pointing fingers at you, Square Enix, but some of these developers are literally just, they're falling back on these methods, and they're not even doing a really good job at implementing them, at making them look good. Because I've seen some incredible FSR 3, FSR 2. I've seen some incredible utilization of that tech. I've seen some amazing utilization of DLSS as well as XESS, but I've also seen not so good implementation of DLSS. I've also seen not so good implementation of FSR, and that sucks. That really hurts the experience, especially if you need to use it, if you have to use it. That really sucks. That could leave you with a worse off experience than just not using anything at all. And to be completely honest with you, if these games can't hit 1080p native, I really don't think they should be using any upscaling for 1080p or lower, period. If you can't make your game run at 1080p native, you do not upscale it from anything under that. Don't do it. Don't do it. That looks horrible. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants fuzz K. Nobody wants blurry, ugly images. Just give it to them straight. Give them their 1080p. I would much rather have native 1080p than upscaled 1080p any day of the week. Period. That's what I would like to have. And you can go as far if you're gonna do 1440p and then upscale it. Unless it's like quality upscale, you don't want that either, because it doesn't look good. It doesn't look that good. It is ugly. It is blurry. It breaks the immersion. It takes you out of the experience. The only reason I still bought Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is because I'm going to play it on a 1440p monitor, and it actually looks pretty dang good on that. But man, playing with that on a 4K TV, like, you can get it to a playable point to where it's okay, but my gosh, man, like, that seriously destroys. Gamers love their image quality, but they also love their performance. If you're and I get that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has a 30 frames per second mode in there, but if you can't bring yourself to, like, seriously make the performance mode look good, don't even offer it. Seriously, just be like, hey, just Starfield that mode, just Starfield that game, bro. 30 frames per second. Here you go. Enjoy it. It looks incredible. Play it at 30 frames per second. I would much rather have the developers do that to me than give me a mode that like really hampers the experience. Like, that sucks. That really does suck. But yeah, man, I've been sitting here with my 7900 XT all day long playing some of these games, playing around with some I jumped into some Dying Light 2. I was playing a little bit of, like I said, Battlefield, Call of Duty, Deliver Us Some Mars, Diablo, some Enshrouded. Just a bunch of these games. Just got done playing some Skull and Bones, man. Like, that's a game that I'm going to be playing for a while. I like that Skull and Bones. I like getting in there. I teamed up with a bunch of people that were on there. We took out a fort. We took out the ships that were coming at us. We plundered that baby, and we got through, and that was pretty fun. That's actually kind of exciting. I'm going to try to get together a crew and go take on some of these bounties and stuff. I like what that game has to offer, and I think it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun to play. But I was playing that, and I dropped it down to 1440p, and I'm sitting here on the monitor, and I'm pushing over 135 frames a second, and I'm like, gosh dang, dude, this freaking GPU surprises me all the time. Like, there's just stuff that I'm like, gosh dang, man, like, I don't expect it to do something, and then it does it, and it does it better than I expected it to do, and I'm like, gosh dang, man, why wouldn't somebody buy this GPU? Like, the 7900 XT, 7800 XT, the 7800 XT is kind of my favorite. It's just I feel like it's a jack of all trades knife. Like, it does really good lower resolution, it does pretty decent upper resolutions. So I think that's a great card, a great investment that will last you a little bit of time. But the 7900 XT is that card that is like, it doesn't necessarily really need to be there because you have a 7900 XTX. There was only like $100 more at launch. But that card, something tells me that this 7900 XT just kind of fits in there. And the 7900 XT is at a price where it literally just comes in and takes out the whole freaking NVIDIA 40 stack. Just boom, from 4070 Super all the way to 4070 Ti Super, and everything in between. It just completely obliterates it. It's like, boom, gone. You don't even need any of those cards. You can literally spend, what is it? It's like $50 to $60 more than a 4070 Super. So yeah, spend the money, you get 20 gigs of VRAM. And it's cheaper than the freaking 4070 Ti Super, and more powerful. So it's like, it just completely destroys that whole stack, from a 4070. Yeah, I mean, even from a 4070 all the way forward, it just completely destroys the whole 40 series, the 70 class of NVIDIA's GPUs. And it's like, gosh dang. And it even nips at the heels of the 4080 in some games. So it's like, my gosh, man, that 7900 XT is just like the stack. It is like the whole stack. It comes out, when it first came out, it was more expensive. Now you're starting to be able to get it at a reasonable price. So I don't know, man. Like, at first I was like, gosh, I was leaning more toward like recommending the 7800 XT, but now I'm to the point where it's like, dude, these things are getting cheap enough to where, yeah, dude, that's a very good deal for a very good card that has a lot of power and it does a very good job. A really stable experience. I've already said this a million times. You get an incredible experience with the AMD's Adrenalin software. So good that even Nvidia is like, yeah, we're gonna put out a software now, and I'm like, dude, it's about time. You guys could have maybe sent me a DM over on Twitter and been like, hey man, we're gonna do that one thing you're asking for. But yeah, dude, they don't say anything. So yeah, I'm really excited for the 7900 XT. I want to see what you guys think of this, so let me know in the comment section if you think that's a good recommendation. But yeah, dude, I am up in my my recommendation and telling people if you can get this thing at like 650, $700, do it. That's a very good deal. I mean, obviously we're talking upper end GPUs. Like your 7600 XT is an absolute beast at 1080p 1440p gaming. The 7800 XT is a dang good card, but yeah, I don't know, man. I just feel pretty good about AMD Stack this generation and their willingness to come down on prices to give you this much power for a good amount of money. See, and this is the thing, man. This is like what I think AMD's, because a lot of people are like, oh man, AMD's lowering the price and blah blah blah. But every single person that buys one of these cards at these lower prices, and these cards are going to last them 1, 2, possibly 3 generations. They're not going to be thinking about NVIDIA after 3 generations, man. These guys are going to stay with AMD. So yeah, the cheaper the price, the better. Like, think of it as a blessing that they're giving you. Like, because they pretty much are giving you a lot of bang for your buck. And yeah, that's incredible. A lot of bang for your buck, and this stuff is only getting better. FSR 3, every game that's been coming out has been doing a very good job at that. Almost indistinguishable in my eyes between DLSS or XeSS. If you set it on like the quality mode at 4K, like it looks pretty dang good and it gets the job done. So, all right, my friends, if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah, have fun. Have a good rest of your weekend.